guys, welcome to episode 46 of Notable Needlework. I am Kate, Notable Needle, N-O-T-E-A-B-L-E, on Ravelry, on Plurk, and on Twitter. The blog, if you're watching this on iTunes, is at notableneedlework.blogspot.com. That is also where the show notes are. There is a Ravelry group for the podcast, and you should join it and say hi and introduce yourself. And not just for my podcast, but for all of their podcasts on iTunes, please leave a star rating and or a review. I keep wanting to say that it's been a long week, but it hasn't. I only had class for 2 days this week. Thank you, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I think it just felt long because I'm ready to be back in clinicals. I'm getting super bored being at home, and I want to be out and doing things and helping people, and the fact that it was raining didn't help. If you look in the... Oh, there she goes. Susu was in here for a while. When I first came in, actually, I'd left the door open, and she was sitting on the computer chair just looking at me going, "Hey mommy, it's recording time." I have 2 finished objects, and one I'm very happy with, the other I am not so happy with. The first one, which is the one I am happy with, are the Skew socks, which I absolutely adore. You can't really see the heel when it's on the sock blockers, but I can't put them on my feet and somehow show you my heel with the camera. But these are out of 3 Irish Girls Adorn sock in the Estuary colorway, which was so graciously given to me by Lisa Marie. Thank you again. These are the socks that our friend from college won in the white elephant that we were doing. So it's they're a little too long for the sock blocker, which I want to measure my sock blocker. But, hey Susu. Yeah, they'll be hanging around a little bit. Well, she will. I think Yugi's asleep. I love how these turned out. I even love... Well, love is a strong word for the bind off. I used the sewn bind off. The bind off is, I think, the main reason why I don't do toe up socks. And the sewn bind off is super easy as long as you do your tension right, so I did that. The next pair of toe up socks that I do, I think I'm going to try the Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy bind off. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but I love the way this turned out. I love the bias, I love the colors. I was kind of figuring out if there was a way that I could magically keep them, but they're for a men's 10.5, so a little bit big for either Will or I. So that's those, and then here's the other one. I blocked it, kind of, but yeah. Anyways, I'm going to send those out to him tomorrow, since it is Sunday. Sue's coming to say hi, just as a warning. And then, the other pair of socks, it's a Susu Eclipse. The other pair of socks, I loved when I bound them off and blocked them. And then I wanted to throw them across the room. I did throw them across the room several times when I realized what went wrong. So, yeah, and you can already see that there's something very wrong with these socks, considering they're supposed to be for my husband. Let's see. Okay, this is for a men's 10.5. See how long the foot is? It looks like it goes to like my shoulder-ish. This one does not go past my shoulder. I have no idea what happened with these because I swear I measured them correctly. I really did. And if anything, I blocked them more aggressively so they would stretch out more. If it's a woman's 6.5, the two problems I ran into. One, evidently Will and I do not wear the same shoe size. He told me that we did. I wear a woman's 10, which is a men's 8. He actually wears a men's 9. But even if they had fit a men's 8, or even if I had gotten a men's 8, no, even if I was trying to get a men's 8, this would not be a men's 8. It's like a men's 4. Yeah. So, I was highly upset with these socks. Otherwise, I love how they turned out. I love the colors. These are going to my mom, who does have a size 6.5 foot. I had several people, don't eat my project bag. I had several people on Facebook try and get them from me, and Mom sort of win when it comes to this. I don't actually know how much she would wear them. She probably will around the house when she has her brace off. But, yeah, they're gonna get sent to her tomorrow, and I was super upset because they're supposed to be Will's Christmas present. Don't fit well. I will go into Will's next Christmas present. By next, I mean he'll get it in time for his birthday, which is in February. But, he obviously has to get a pair of socks because he wants a pair of socks. But they won't be these ones. Works in progress. I have a lot. And I didn't cast on all the things that I wanted to cast on. The first thing that I have is, I think, about almost 70% done. Because I'm just going to use up all the yarn. And I've been weighing it along the way. Oh, these were... okay, these were on US 2s. The pattern calls for 1s so that they would be wide enough for Donnie's huge feet. These were also size US 2. It was the Knit Picks Stroll hand painted in the Tree Fort colorway, and it was 64 stitches around, and then just basic gusset heel, and evidently not going far enough on the foot. So this is my self-designed pattern, which one day I will write up because I've used it so many times. I will write it up and put it on Ravelry, and it will be a free pattern because I don't believe in having something this easy be something that you pay for. This is my super simple scarf. This is Knit Picks, Lion Brand Woolies Chunky in the walnut colorway. And this is a lot longer than the other scarves that you have seen me do in the same pattern. I've done the Misty Alpaca Hand Paint Chunky, and I've done the Misty Alpaca Chunky in this. Both of those are about 100 yards. This Woolies Chunky is about 150, and it's also going to someone who's much taller. I am doing this, and this is on size 13 needles. I'm doing this as an order for a friend of mine from college. She is living in New York City, and she lives with her boyfriend, who has been complaining about the cold, which both of us find ironic because he is originally from Canada, and he's complaining about the cold in New York. So I agreed to make him a scarf. I initially agreed to make him a scarf in Columbia colors because that's where he's getting his PhD right now. And y'all know how Colorwork and I get along. Not very well. So that got frogged, and I picked out this yarn instead for him because it's a nice manly color and it will work well for him. Right now, using like 70% of the yarn, I would say it's, I'd say a little over 4 feet long. Can't measure that. Yeah, about 4 feet long, with 70% of the yarn. So like 75, like 80 yards. I forgot to measure how long the other scarves with the Misty Alpaca Chunky were. But I think that there will be at least one more of those in the future, so I will measure it when I do that. I think with the Misty Alpaca I got like 5 feet long. I've heard before that your scarf is supposed to be about as long as you are tall, so I'm going with longer because Eric's like 6'3". And everyone else I've made them for is about 5 foot, 5'3" at the tallest. So this will be longer. It's coming along. I'm hoping to finish it either tonight or tomorrow. I've had knitting ADD where I'll work for like 20 minutes on one project and switch to another one and then switch because I don't know. Because I know why. Because I want to cast on everything else ever. But I need to finish projects. Because for some of them I'm kind of on a deadline. Because I don't want to send Eric his scarf in like the middle of March when it's getting warm there. Okay, hopefully there won't be any more Susu eclipses. She's asleep on top of the computer under the light. She's sort of a warmth vampire. She does this a lot during VKNs. Other knitting that I really need to get done, because I don't have any excuse for why it's not done yet, is Brittany's stethoscope cozy, which I did actually manage to get work done on. The one problem I ran into on this is that she has a slightly different, it's the same brand, it's a different model stethoscope than I do. So I'm having my friend who owns the same type of stethoscope and same model and everything let me measure it tomorrow, and so much for no more Susu eclipses. She's on top of the pile of project bags that I still need to show you. Anyways, I'm going to measure his stethoscope tomorrow and make sure it's roughly the same length, because I don't want there to be any gaps. I don't want it to be too short. I don't want it to be long. I want it to cover everything that it's supposed to cover. And for those of you who have not seen, I have a cover for my stethoscope that I made when I first got into nursing school, before I started classes. And the problem that I had with this one, because I did it on size 1s, was that it is a pain. The first couple times, it was a pain in the butt to get over the bell. Now that it has stretched some, I don't have as much of a problem, but I don't want Brittany to have that issue. And so right now, it stretches a lot. I was contemplating blocking it out to the right length, but I'm just going to knit it to the right length. So this is about where the increases are for the Littmann Classic. She has a cardio. So I have approximately 5 or 6 inches before the increases for this particular model. I'm going to measure and make sure it's not different for the cardio. But I got quite a bit done on it. It's coming along. I would love, love, love to get that done next week. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would really like to get it done either this week, next week at the latest, because my OB clinicals start not this coming Friday, but the next one. And then I will no longer have any time whatsoever. Not that that's a bad thing, but orders need to get done. So that's the Stethoscope Cozy, and this is US 3's in the Shibui knit sock in the anime colorway. I think I figured that if I stretched it all the way, it would be the right length and a little closer to the right diameter, but I wasn't sure if I would still then be able to stretch it over the bell successfully. And then she'd have to block it every time that she dried it. I don't want her to freak out and call me and tell me that it's super, super short now and she ruined it in the washer. Let's see if I can wrestle this away from her. Yoink. The next work in progress you did not see last week because I was not working on it last week. I decided that I would give in to my urges to cast on at least something, and I'm doing a simple pair of stripy socks, probably for me, just because. Alright, if you look at this sock, you don't see any problems, right? If you look at the back, there are, it's really not that noticeable on the camera. If you can tell that there are like darker spots in here, that's not shadows. There are splotches in the yarn. When I initially cast these on, I was intending on having them be for me anyway, but with the splotches, they're definitely going to be for me. This is Knit Picks Felici Self-Striping in the Mixed Berries colorway. I have two full stripe repeats. It's got this dark purple, regular purple, bright pink, really, really, really pale pink. It looks white from some angles. It's really light pink, and then a lavender. And it reminds me kind of ish of Valentine's. It reminds me of Valentine's mixed with Good and Plenty. Mixed with like Easter eggs colors. If you have a little girl in your life that you need to like knit socks for, I would highly recommend this for them. And it's super soft. But these are all mine, and they're very girly, and I like them. It's my kind of girly. These are also on US 2's 60 stitches around, and I'm going to do an afterthought heel with these. But I've just sort of been working on them every so often. I was working on them when we were checking out of Walmart today. Will gets mad at me when I do that because he thinks I'm going to fall down and impale myself with the knitting needle. Yeah, I'm going to have to move that. I meant to check and see if I was at the same spot or not. I think I was on the same spot on the Even Star where I finished chart 2. But I'm completely done with chart. Jeez. I wasn't sure if I did this, if I got to that point in the chart last week, or if it was on Monday that I did that. So I'm going to show you anyway. I've finished chart 2 of the lace. And this is on the 60-inch needle. I can't get any longer cables, so it's just going to be bunched out forever. I have not done the increase rows yet because I want to have a long enough length of time that I'm knitting straight, so I don't have to keep trying to figure out how many rows I've knit since the increases, because it's the increase row right after this, and then it's like knit 6 rows before you start chart 3. And this is on US 4's. This is the Elegant Yarns Athena in colorway 230. And as you can see, I have not started the second ball yet. I'm expecting that will probably be sometime during chart 3. Anyways, so it's coming along. I like working on it in bursts because it is lace and it is going to take a while. But I work on it sporadically, and I think that I might be able to get it done by the end of the year, and I'm super excited about that. Last but certainly not least, which she's still sleeping on top of. She's not. Keep getting rid of her pillows. Last but certainly not least is /R my monkey socks. I have finished 3 pattern repeats. I think I measured to get 6 inches I need like 2 more repeats. I might do 3 just because I can, to make it a little bit longer leg. This is on US 2s again. And it's out of Sweet Georgia Tough Love Sock in the Venice colorway. And I'm doing the small size of the pattern, but since the pattern calls for US 1s, which I would have made gauge on, and I'm doing them on US 2s instead so that they will be wide enough for my feet. And so far in trying them on, I have been just fine in getting them on my feet. I don't have any problems with it being too small, and with the length I can always make it as long or as short as I want. And these will not be too short for my feet because I said so. This is for the knit along that I am hosting in our group. Check out the thread on Ravelry. It's going from whenever you start the socks to February 29th. And it's just if you want to make more than one, if you want to change the pattern. I'm doing the no purl version because I'm lazy like that. You can do the no purl version, you can do the original version, you can do whatever sock yarn you want. It does look very, very good in variegated yarns. I love the way this is working up. I love this colorway. The camera does not do it justice, and it makes me so sad. It's not getting the colors right. I'm gonna try taking a photo of it with my good camera and seeing if that helps get the colors right on the page. But if you are knitting along with the group, please tag your projects NN for Notable Needlework, Monkey KAL. Wait, is it Monkey Sock KAL? What did I say? No, NN Monkey KAL. Which I put that in the thread as well. So that is it for works in progress. I have not actually spun since last week, and I'm getting all sorts of tangled up in myself. Let me take this off now. I haven't spun any. I've been just trying to get my knitting done because I really do need to get this done. Really, really do. Let's see what we got. Other knitting related, I don't have any physical yarn with me, but I have placed orders, or I'm waiting for, no, that still counts as an order. Yeah. I have things that are probably coming in the next week, or 2 weeks at the latest. So the first thing is for Will. I had him pick out his yarn for his socks that are probably going to be his birthday socks and his Christmas socks. He just wants a pair of socks. So this, I'm trying to get it as big as possible. This is the yarn that he picked. It's the Knit Picks Felici self-striping yarn, again, in the afternoon colorway. he says that the colors remind him of the game Katamari, which I agree with. They do. So he's looking forward to that. A skein of Knit Picks Stroll Tonal in the Blue Yonder colorway may have also slipped in there because the shipping was the same, and I don't like paying like more than 10% of the cost of shipping. Which realistically is probably going to be for a gift, so it doesn't count. The other thing that is coming, which I did not buy, I did a trade because I was trolling around stashes in Ravelry. Because obviously I'm a fan of the Felici self-striping yarn. And I showed that I got quite a bit of it from family members for Christmas. One of the colorways that I got was the Tyranian Purple, which I had just knit a sock out of. And I had intended on keeping it and using it for something. But I was trolling around and I found that someone was looking for that, and they were looking for that specific colorway. So I figured, hey, I'll get something that I haven't, I'll get a colorway I haven't knit before and see how that turns out. So I sent her the Tyranian Purple, and I'm getting the Moonlit, which is purples and blues and a little bit of yellow, green, chartreuse. Will is not crazy about the colors. I don't care. I don't know who they're going to be for yet. There might be socks for someone for Christmas. They might be for me. I haven't decided yet. But what I'm planning on doing for these, and I mentioned something on Plurk about this, is I love the idea of toe-up socks, but I hate the bind-off edge. I just can't stand it. But I love the idea of toe-up socks because you can use up all of the yarn. So what I'm planning on doing on these, which I would have to find a contrasting or a coordinating color for the heels and the toes and the cuff, is maybe not the toes, maybe just the heels and the cuff. I'll look around and decide. Anyways, what I'm planning on doing is doing the sock from the toe up with an afterthought heel until I use up all of the self-striping yarn. Like maybe a couple yards left. Or the last stripe or whatever. However I feel like doing it. Until I'm done. Then I want to cast on and knit the cuff in that contrasting yarn and graft them together. I know that seems like a lot of work, but I really hate the cast off edge of top socks. I have not found a cast off I like. I think that they wind up too baggy for my taste, and I won't fix it. So I'm going to see if that works. Because I love the really long socks, and I always run out of yarn. Or I always have a bunch left over, because I think that I'm going to run out when I'm doing the foot. So I'm going to try that and see how that turns out. With either the Moonlit or the Hummingbird that I have in my stash. I haven't decided yet. Okay. The other things that are coming are, and I've showed this before, is the Knitting's My Bag custom bag that I won for the Podcaster Challenge, which is in the medical fabric that I wound up finding. Love it! She got the fabric late last week and has been working on sewing them. I know she's also doing the Bag of the Month Club bags, so I think she said that she was hoping to have it done sometime this week, maybe. I'm probably going to see her on DKN tonight, so I'll ask her then. But I'm looking forward to that. Really, really, really looking forward to that. And the last thing that is coming is for an order that I'm doing. For Cal Berkeley socks. One of my friend's wives, I mean, she's my friend too, but our friend from college just got married. His wife went to Berkeley for undergrad. So if you're not familiar with Cal Berkeley, that's the logo. And so I told her that I would do a pair of stripy socks in the Berkeley colors. Obviously, I don't like doing color work, much less in socks. So what I did was at the very end of the year, like I think it was December 31st, I talked to Lisa, who is Fiber Nymph, 90% Knitting and the Fiber Nymph Dye Works on Etsy, and asked if she could dye up a 2-stripe sock yarn with those colors. And after much searching on the internet to make sure that the colors that we were seeing on our 2 separate monitors were the same colors, we found, I think that was the photo that wound up being right on both of our monitors, because one of them was turning out really purple on hers. Anyways, she's dyeing up the yarn. I believe she was dyeing it on Thursday or Friday, and now it's drying. And then I'm hoping to get that sometime this week, since she's a little bit closer to me in Pittsburgh, because I'm down here in Alabama. And then I can work on those for Laura. And then once those needles are free, I can work on the socks for my friend Yun, who does not know she's getting them. She was trying so hard to get these socks, because she's a size 7, and so she figured a 6.5 she could wear it. She's trying so hard to get these socks. And then my mom called dibs on them, and she said that moms win. But she doesn't know that she's getting a pair of socks, which I really can't wait to cast on, because they're a kind of complicated pattern, and I want to get them done before her birthday in April. The last truly knitting related thing is a question that I have for you guys. So, my friend Addie, who is the one having her twins in like late March, found this yarn and gave it to me because she knows of my love for all things knitted. She crochets, and she mostly does baby blankets for our church group, so she's pretty much just doing worsted. She found this that she thinks someone else gave to her, and I have been trying so hard to figure out what this yarn is. I have looked on Ravelry, I have looked on the yarn decks. I have no idea where. I mean, it says the name, I guess it's discontinued. It is Capri, or Carpi, Carpi High Fashion Yarn, and it's from Italy. It's 55% mohair, 35% wool, 10% nylon. And they're the same color, and there's no dye lot. It says imported from Italy, 40-gram ball. It does not, there's a staple coming out. It does not say how many yards are in it, and I don't really want to unwind them and find out. It has teeny tiny staples instead of adhesive. I'm gonna see if the inside tells me anything. Instead of it has washing instructions, and it's just don't put in the washing machine or death will happen to you. Anyways, it's say about a fingering weight. It's definitely not a lace. It's about a fingering weight yarn, and or maybe a heavy lace. No, it's too heavy to be a lace because this is lace. Wait. Oh, I guess it is lace weight. Huh. Okay, it's lace weight. Okay, it's lace weight yarn, 40 grams per ball, so 80 grams. I have no idea how many yards, and I don't know what to do with it. I have no idea where this yarn came from. I really don't, and I can't find anything about the company. I can't find anything about the yarn or how it works up or anything. If you have any suggestions for what to do with a unknown amount of lace weight yarn, well, now that I know that it's lace weight, I might do one of that pattern that starts with a B that I can't pronounce. That you measure the yarn and you use half of it with like increases, and then you switch to the other half and then you do the decreases, so you don't actually have to know Bakutis? Maybe. I'll probably do one of those with these. But I have no idea what happened to this yarn company, because this is definitely from at least the 70s, maybe the 60s. So, if you have any thoughts besides the Bakutis pattern, let me know. That's the only thing I can think of because I don't know how much there is. I mean, I know weight, but I don't know yards. So let me know. I'm rambling a lot. Okay, last thing that's not entirely knitting related, but more of a, yay, I managed to do it. You can't see, but there's a lot less stuff in this office. A lot. I know it doesn't look like it, but I went through my entire stash, including the bins that I don't look into ever because they scare me. I had a lot of plastic bins with just stuff crammed into them, and I went through and was completely ruthless, and I figured out what was donatable and what wasn't, and I just got rid of everything. I mean, I kept maybe like a plastic bag worth of stuff from the bins that I'm looking at. And most of it is stuff that is still perfectly usable, but I wouldn't want to donate. Like, there's like some Vanna's Glamour in there. It's stuff that I would still use, like in a gift or something, but yeah. So it was 6 garbage bags worth of stuff that is leaving this office. A couple of those are actually still in the office because I'm not going to my knitting group until next Tuesday. But there's finished items that are getting donated. There's a butt ton of yarn getting donated, and then there was a lot of stuff that was, I'm not spending a week going through all of this stuff. I'm just getting rid of it because it would be far too much of a pain to like rewind like a messed up pound of love back into the yarn. It's just not worth it. So I was ruthless and went through a bunch of stuff, and it's gone, and I'm very happy for that. What it did remind me was I have a lot of cross-stitch stuff that I just have not touched, and I need to do that, including embroidery. So I have a couple things that once I get a few more things off the needles, I'm going to start working on because I need to. One of which is, and it has the shipping label on it from Joann, so I'm going to get rid of that so you can actually see the pattern. One of them is a wedding announcement cross stitch that I am doing for my friends Vel and Matthias, who are getting married in July. I did one for the friends that I'm doing the cowl socks for. I did one for their wedding, and Val and Laura are best friends, so I kind of can't not do one for them too. So they're getting this one. The other thing that I need to work on is not so much on a deadline, but it's more of a, if I don't start at least chipping away, they're never going to get done, and then I'm going to feel like an idiot for getting that much fabric. Is, and I should have brought in the finished objects that I have for these. It's embroidery, and what I managed to get a hold of, I sort of love the iron-on transfer thingies, whatever you want to call them. I think they're like on someone's. They sell them in Joann's for like $2. I got a whole bunch of them that were chili pepper themed, southwestern themed. This one's jalapenos, and then it has a bunch of different jalapenos, and one's cut up there with little borders. I've done 4 of them so far, and there were 9 in the set. I want to start working on these again, because not only do I have the chili peppers, I have 3 other sets, 2 of which have 50 each. That's right, 50 each. Which I'm planning on turning into quilts. The one that doesn't have 50 is different wines, and then I got a deep burgundy / purple-ish fabric. That's probably going to be for my mom if I ever finish it. And then the other 2 are all of the state birds and all of the state flowers. Granted, I will probably not have those done until I have like children that are like 10 years old. But it's a goal. It is a goal, and I want to try and do those at some point. And I have blue fabric for the birds and green fabric for the flowers to go in between. So a checkerboard type pattern with embroidery, colored fabric, embroidery, colored fabric, etc. So I need to start working on the chili peppers so that I can get onto the wine, so then I can get onto probably the flowers. Or I can do the birds and then the flowers, because I really want to do the flowers, and I only sort of want to do the birds. Anyways, I'm rambling. I'm at 43 minutes. Nursing school, I had 2 days of class this week. We didn't do a whole heck of a lot. It was, we did have boot lab on Tuesday, which is getting us prepared for our OB clinicals. It's boot camp, but boot lab. One of the things that I loved was newborn care, because Will and I babysit on a regular basis, small children. I'm very comfortable with taking care of very, very, very small children. So when we got to the how to change a diaper, how to swaddle an infant, I sort of kicked ass at it. But we had our newborn assessment. We had doing exams during labor, checking to see how dilated a cervix is. What was the other one that we did? I think it was postpartum care. So, correlating vital signs with any problems that you have, any hemorrhaging, identifying that, knowing what sort of stuff you're going to see in a patient who's had a cesarean section, how to take care of the stitches, etc. Basically what to do, what not to do, what to look for, that kind of stuff. And then Wednesday was just lectures in OB and in pharmacology. We have 2 3-hour lectures in a row, separated by an hour of lunch. Very information dense subject material. So we're all just sort of dead by 4 p.m. on Wednesdays. Granted, I enjoy pharmacology more than most students, so I wasn't completely dead, but I'm definitely bringing a drink with me or something to sort of keep me vaguely focused and not sleepy. I was not falling asleep in class, but they turn up the heater way too much. So it's very conducive to sleep, which is not good for class. Can't really think of anything else. I feel like there was something else that I was going to tell y'all. Oh! Oops. There was one introduction. I forgot because there weren't any last week. It's Mary? Yeah, Mary, who is knitting Mary B on Ravelry. And, Mary, thank you for introducing yourself. And if you haven't, which I have a feeling, based on my views, most of you haven't, please join the group, introduce yourself on the Ravelry board. And I like meeting y'all. I think that's it. That's all I have pulled up on the iPad, so I'm assuming that that's everything. I hope that y'all are having a good week. It has been rainy and gross here, and it's supposed to let up. I think it's supposed to rain again on Wednesday, though. But I have been babysitting for a wonderful 2-year-old. He's the sweetest little boy ever. So between classes and babysitting and knitting, that's kind of my entire life right now. I need clinicals to start, because then I actually want to do my reading, because I want to be prepared for my patients, and right now it's the basic material and I want to get on to the more interesting stuff, but we need to learn the basics to go into the more interesting stuff. So anyways, I'm going to stop talking now because it's dinner time. I'm hungry. I'll see you later. Bye.